Hey scholars, Mr. Baker here again for vlog number 2. Today's vlog is going to be about something that you probably didn't know you had access to, and that is Gmail. I've been working with our technology department to get all of your school email accounts set up, and we're now good to go. I'm going to show you how to get to Gmail, how to send an email, what it looks like when you receive an email, and then we're going to talk a little bit about when you should check your email, how often you should check your email, and the proper way to use email. So to start, let's go to Gmail. You can get there by typing into Google, and it will be the first thing that pops up. Or you can go to your waffle, and you can find Gmail from there. It's important to remember that you have to be logged into Google with your school account. Otherwise, you won't be able to access your school email. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to go into Gmail. And right now, I'm logged in as a scholar, so you can see what it looks like from that end. As you can see, I'm looking at my email inbox, and there's nothing there. A lot of your inboxes are going to look like that because you've never used your school email before. To start, I'm going to show you how to send an email. I'm going to go up to the top left and find my plus, and I'm going to click Compose. That's going to open up my email message box. So now I can start typing my message. But first, I need to let Gmail know who I want this message to go to. So in the to line, I'm going to either type an email address, or if it's someone at Learn, I can just start typing their name. So I'm going to just send this to myself. So I'm going to send it to Mr. Baker. I can see that it's at learncharter.org, and that I can see my little picture. So I know it's going to the right person. I can send this to as many people as I need to. So if I also want to send it to Mr. Nuccio, I just start typing his name, and there it is. Now let's say I typed Mr. Nuccio, and then I decided maybe I don't want to send this to him. I can just click the X, and it will go away. And now I can see that I'm just going to send it to Mr. Baker. In my subject line, I'm just going to put a brief couple of words about what this email is for. So let's pretend that I'm going to ask Mr. Baker for help. Once I've typed my subject, I'm going to go down into the main body of the email, and I'm going to type in more detail what it is that I need help with. I'm going to write it just like I would a letter, so I'm going to address it. Mr. Baker, comma, help me. I forgot what we need to do on the STEM project. And then I'm going to say thanks, and then your name. Okay. So this email now is going to show the subject. It's going to give the details of what is needed, and I'm going to put the scholar name at the bottom so I know who it's from. At the bottom of the box, there are a few options. You can attach a file, you can send a link, you can add a file straight from Google Drive. So if you are working on a project and it's something that you don't, or that you're having trouble sharing or posting in Google Classroom, you can always go in and you can attach it to an email so that your teacher can see it. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to click send, and that's going to send the email. I'm going to switch over to my school account so that you can see what it looks like when I receive the email. I'm going to make sure that the message was sent. We're good to go. And then I'm going to pop over here, and I'm going to click refresh. Oh, there it is. So I can see I have a new email. I'm going to open that up, and now I can see who the email was from, who it was sent to. I can see the main message, and I'm going to read this and see what this scholar needs. Oh, needs help with the STEM project. Okay. To respond back, I can either click the reply button here, or I can click this reply button here. If for some reason you get an email that you want to share with someone else, you can click the forward button and then you can send it on to someone else. But for now, I'm going to reply back to this scholar. And I'm going to say, check Google Classroom for the directions. Let me know if you need more help. And then I'm going to send. Okay, so now I've sent an email back to my scholar, and I'm going to pop back over to their email. And usually it takes maybe 10 or 20 seconds for that email to come through. If I click this refresh button, maybe it'll pop through a little bit quicker. Oh, there it is. All right, I can tell that this is a new email in my inbox because the subject is bold. I can also see that this was originally sent by me, and Mr. Baker has now replied back to it. And there are 2 messages available. So I'm going to click on this and open the email. I can read the email message so I know what's happening. If I need to go back and look at my email, I can click up here so I can see what I sent. And now that I've read it, I know what to do. I'm going to go back to my inbox. I can either click inbox here, or I can click this back arrow and it will take me to my inbox. There are a few things I can do with this message. If it's something that's really important or something that I think I need to come back and look at again, I'm going to click the star. Or if it's something where I sent it, I read it, but I'm working on something else and I want to come back to it, I can click the box and then I'm going to mark it as unread. So now it's bold again. You could also check the box and click the trash can if you want to delete the email. So if you're finished with that email, or if you got a spam message, you can click delete and that message will go away. I'm not going to do that for this email because there's something else I want to show you. There's a button up here called Move To. So what I do is I create folders or labels for all of my emails. So if I go back to my own email, you can see here's my inbox, but on the left side, I have all of these labels so I can organize my emails. I try not to get rid of any emails because there's usually a time when I need to go back and look at something that I forgot about. So it's a good idea to have those emails organized. Now to do that, I'm going to click Move To, and then I'm going to create a label. I'm going to call this Teachers, because these are all going to be emails that are either from teachers or that I've sent to teachers and got back. When I click Create, you'll see that email is no longer in my inbox, but when I go over to Teachers on the left, I can find that email again. Now back in my inbox, there are a couple other things that I can do. If I click this gear, I can go into settings and I can change a few things like my theme. I can set up the way that I want my inbox to look. That's more of a personal preference for you. I can also go down to Gmail setup. And this is where I can set my signature. A signature is what's going to be at the bottom of the email. So you can set the signature to be like, thanks, and your name, or something like that. You can change your profile image, make sure it's appropriate for school. Or you can click Learn How to Use Gmail, and it's going to give you some tutorial walkthroughs on how to use Gmail. Now that I've gone through how to use email, let's talk about the when and the why. For me, I try to check my email as often as possible because throughout the day I get a lot of emails from other teachers or from other people that I work with outside of school. so I just try and keep up with it as much as I can. A good rule of thumb for you at school would be to try to check your email maybe once an hour. Or if you're in middle school, maybe once per class period, just to make sure that you didn't miss anything important. I always try to check my email when I get up in the morning to make sure that there's nothing I need to take care of before school. And then I try to check it later in the evening just to make sure I didn't miss anything between the end of the school day and that evening. Now, let's talk about email etiquette. Etiquette is the proper way to use email. Remember, this is your school email account, which means that it needs to be used for school things only. Just like with all of our school devices and all of our school accounts, you are only going to use them for school things. We need to be respectful when we use email. When you send an email, it needs to be written in a good format, just like you would a letter. Spelling is important, especially if you're trying to tell someone some information or if you're asking for help. You need to make sure that whoever you're sending it to can understand what you're saying. It's also important to remember that this is a great tool if you need to get information from your teacher, or if you need to ask for help, or if you need to share some information with another person. It's a great way to communicate if you're working with a partner, if you're working on a project with a team. This is not a great way for you to just have a conversation back and forth with a friend. That's not what this email is for. You also need to remember to be responsible. Please don't spam your teachers with 100 messages. That makes it hard for the teacher to find the information from scholars who actually need help, who are trying to share something important with them. That's all I have for now. It was nice talking to you. I hope you get in and you get your Gmail set up and we can start emailing back and forth. If you need any help, you can always email me, gbaker@learncharter.org. Until next time, see you later. I will talk to you again in vlog number 3.